الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله
أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
وحده لا شريك له له الملك اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة وآت سيدنا محمد الوسيلة والفضيلة والبعث مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. My brothers and sisters in Islam, the subject of my khutbah today, inshallah, is going to be based on a few passages of the Quran. One of the most beautiful things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does in the Quran is that He describes characteristics of those whom He loves. And as Muslims, as believers, we use those characteristics, we use those descriptions as a guideline on how to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on how we can receive Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's reward, which is Jannah. May Allah grant us all Jannah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the passage, He starts out by saying, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ, and race towards forgiveness from your Lord. وَجَنَّةٍ أَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ, and a garden, a paradise, whose real estate, whose size is that of the heavens and the earth, a size that we can't comprehend. أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, prepared, well prepared for those who have taqwa. And we hear this word a lot, taqwa, but what does it actually mean? Umar ibn Khattab, radiallahu anhu, he once asked Ubay bin Ka'ab, radiallahu anhu. He asked him this question. He said, what is taqwa? Ubay had an understanding of the Quran. He was one of the companions to know to have a good understanding of the Quran. So Umar ibn Khattab asked him, what is taqwa? Ubay replied with a question. What would you do if you had to walk through a path full of thorns? Umar said, I would roll up my clothes, roll up my sleeves, and as I'm walking through, I would protect myself from those thorns. Ubay replied, that is taqwa. So taqwa means as we go through life, we have to avoid those sins that displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just like how we would avoid those thorns. We protect ourselves from displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We protect ourselves from disappointing or earning the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like how we protect ourselves from those thorns. We set this filter in our head. Is what I am about to do, is what I am about to say, is it either going to displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not? If it is, I stay away from it. And we live by this till the day we die. وَلِلَّهِ مَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. I want to use an example. You're driving. Let's say you're driving a car. And in your mirror you see a police officer driving behind you. All of a sudden you're careful not to exceed the speed limit. You're careful not to swerve off the lane too much. You're careful not to draw that police officer's attention in any way. And everybody around you all of a sudden is driving perfectly. All because we are protecting ourselves from a light punishment called a ticket. So we have to protect ourselves from earning the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this garden is prepared for those people who have this taqwa. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins describing the characteristics. Some of the characteristics of these muttaqeen, of these people of taqwa. And we have to listen carefully because these are guidelines for us as well. These characteristics are not easy to attain, of course. But the ticket to Jannah is not cheap. Claiming La ilaha illallah is not cheap. We have to keep improving. We have to keep striving for it. And that's what Islam is about. Islam is about self-development till the day you die. So the first trait, the first characteristic, الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ. Those who spend for the sake of Allah. Those who spend on charity, فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ, in times that are financially good and when times are financially difficult. Spending for the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when times are going easy, when they're good. It goes without saying, you get a bonus at work or your business is going very well. And you decide out of gratitude, let me be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and spend some of this money on charity. Let me spend some of this money for His sake to show some gratitude. But when times are difficult, your wife or your husband tells you, hey, we should spend some money on charity. And you're like, no, right now, the bills are piling up. Let our account pile up a little more, inshallah, later, inshallah. But these people who truly have taqwa, it doesn't make a difference for them. When times are good, they spend. And when times are not so good, they spend what they can. Because they know they have yaqeen, they have enough conviction in the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يُوَفَّ إِلَيْكُمْ. Whatever you spend for good, whatever you spend for the sake of Allah, will be returned to you, will be reimbursed to you. So these people of taqwa have enough conviction. They trust the words of Allah. They trust the promise of Allah. And they also trust the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam when he says that the mal, the wealth of an individual, does not diminish when they spend, on charity, when they spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how many of us, through our personal experiences or from friends or families, have experienced or have heard someone who has spent money and in some way that money has been returned back to them. It may be from a bonus, from work, or whatever it may be. A way that they can't imagine that money is returned back to them. So these people have enough conviction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that it doesn't make a difference for them what their situation is like when they spend. The second characteristic, the second trait, وَالْكَاذِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ. They swallow their anger. SubhanAllah, look how subtle Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with His words. Look how beautiful, in a beautiful way He describes it. They swallow their anger. He uses the word swallow. Why is that important? If I'm eating an apple, for example, and I'm chewing on that apple, and I stop chewing, you can still tell there's something in my mouth. My cheeks will be a little puffed up. But if I swallow it, you can't tell I had something in my mouth. So these people are so good at managing their anger. They're so good at controlling their anger. They're so good at hiding it. They swallow it. People can't even tell that they're angry. They don't give their loved ones a chance, their friends a chance to ask, what's wrong? You look angry. That's how good they are at swallowing it or at hiding it. Another characteristic, وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. Not only are they good at controlling their anger, they lovingly forgive people. They forgive people out of love. During the Battle of Uhud, the Prophet ﷺ gave strict instructions to a group of companions to stay at a position, to not leave their post no matter what happens. He gave them strict instructions. So during the battle, when the Muslims were on the brink, they were almost winning. They were on the brink of winning the war. These companions thought, hey, we can leave our positions now. We're winning, it's okay. So as soon as they left their positions, the Quraysh, they found an opening, and they struck the Muslims from behind. And we know the story, the Muslims losing that battle. Many of the companions became martyrs of Islam. The Prophet ﷺ lost many loved ones, including his uncle, Hamza radiallahu anhu. And he was even injured. The Prophet ﷺ also became injured in that war. So the Prophet ﷺ had every right to be upset. He had every right to be angry with these people. And even now, in modern times, in many countries, or actually probably all countries, in the army, if you leave your post, it's a crime. If you leave your position, abandon your position, it's a crime, and you could be prosecuted for it. So the Prophet ﷺ was going to meet them. After that battle, he was going to meet with these companions. He was upset. And right before that meeting, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down revelation. فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُ. It is by the mercy of Allah, it is by the grace of Allah that you are lenient, you're soft, you're gentle with them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's saying it is by my mercy, it is by Allah's mercy that you are lenient towards them. Had you been harsh towards them, they would have fled away from you. They wouldn't have been attracted to you as they are now. So Allah is telling the Prophet ﷺ, it is not because you have truth. It is not because you have revelation. It is not because you have the Quran. It is not because you have knowledge. That's not the reason why they're attracted to you, why they want to be around you. It is because of your soft and lenient character towards them. And that's a lesson for us. No matter how much of the Quran, it doesn't matter if we memorize all of the Quran. It doesn't matter if we memorize all of the hadith along with their chains of narration. It doesn't matter if we have the knowledge of a scholar. if we don't have that soft character, if we don't have that forgiving and lenient character, people are not going to want to be around us. Our own children are not going to want to be around us. You can teach them Islam their whole childhood. If you don't have the right character towards them, if you're not kind and merciful towards them, once they grow up and become independent, they don't want to be around you. And that's the hard truth, even your own children. The Prophet ﷺ made every companion feel as if they are his favorite. Brothers, can you scoot up a little bit? This crowd, getting crowd back there, just up a little. So we have to learn to be more gentle and forgiving towards each other.